Bizarre Brain Comics. The Trigger Kid. Yeehaw! Howdy, folks. And welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm the Trigger Kid, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. Well, this time, I just went out to the garage and I thought, oh, it'd be nice to do some of these, and pulled out a fistful of Two Gun Kid comics at random. These just happen to be right close together. So, Two Gun Kid. I've talked very little about the Two Gun Kid and amongst about when I talk about some westerns. But before we do that, first, remind you, I've got two books available. Bizarre Brain Comics Anthology and Bizarre Brain Comics Presents Heroes. Remember those titles. The first one is some humor with a little bit of adventure, and the second is more mainstream with some superhero stuff, a little bit of horror stuff. It even has a western story in there, which fits with this. So you can get your copy, $7.99 each, from Amazon, or you'll even find them on the Barnes & Noble website, Barnes & Noble online store, or you can just Google the title and it'll bring you up to a list. It can be also found on other online book outlets. So here we are, Two Gun Kid. These are by no means all of them. These just happen to be 10 that were close together and easy to find. Because I've talked more about from Marvel. I've talked more about Kid Colt, because he's probably my favorite, and I think I've even covered a Rawhide Kid. But I haven't gone in depth into Two Gun Kid, I don't think. So some of these may have seen before, in doing bunches like this, or in haul videos, what have you. But I don't think I've done an in-depth on Two Gun Kid. I'll do that another time. Maybe you may be seeing it from one of these books here later. Okay, now for those who may not be familiar, as if you're not an old codger like me, got the Two Gun Kid from Marvel Comics. It's the name of two Western characters published by Marvel. It's including Timely and Atlas Comics. The first one was Clay Harder, and he showed up in 1948 at Timely. And the second, and the one that we're talking about here, that first one, that Clay Harder Two Gun Kid, ran for 14 years. And the second one is Matt Hawk. It was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And he was retconned later to Matt Hawkins and Matt Leibowitz. And he was introduced in 1962. And he has continued to appear sporadically into the 2010s and was rolled into the main 616 Marvel Universe, including adventures with the Avengers via time travel. So, and he is, in a way, he's kind of Marvel's equivalent of the Lone Ranger, because he had a dual identity, wore a mask, and he even went up against some characters that would be considered super villains. And from what I understand, even an alien in one of them. I think I may have read that one. I know Kid Colt did once, and similar one with Rawhide Kid. But I likes my westerns, and those are the three Marvel western characters that I really like the best. Is of course Kid Colt, Rawhide Kid, Two Gun Kid, and they're kind of like a triangle right there. So we're starting here with issue number 95, the 15 center. This is from 1970. It said, action, thrills, dangers, don't dare miss the guns of Jesse James. And this is a cover that no credits on it, but it's obviously John Severin. But I think he just did the inks. I think it was penciled by either Jack Kirby or Larry Lieber, and with some fine ink work by John Severin. Interior, as Stan Lee, Dick Ayers, showdown with Jesse James. And of course, I've talked about Dick Ayers so many times. I love his Western work and his stuff in the war comics. Blam 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 blam. He did a real good job with Two Gun Kid, I think, and he did some old Rawhide Kid stuff before that, and of course he was the regular artist on the Ghost Rider through various publishers. Then we have a 20 center. This is issue 104, just 10 issues later. And I think it's just gunfight at Gila Rock. And this is definitely all John Severin cover. This is really nice. And this is from 72. But the interior art goes back to Stan Lee, and the art by Joe Maneely. So this goes way back, and I wonder if it might have been kind of backfit. It's Gila Rock, the wildest town in the West. Ride on at your own risk. And I wonder that because it has art by Joe Maneely, who died in, I think, 58. So this may have been, and I think I'm thinking it may very well have been a version of the original Two Gun Kid, and then it was backfit into the Matt Hawk version with just a little bit of art touch-ups, like his vest and mask, etc. That's just my opinion, and because does it say here? No, it doesn't. Then a backup story here. This was written by Marv Wolfman, illustrated by Ogden Whitney and Dick Ayers. It's also cute. But here is a true blue John Severin Two Gun Kid illustration. That is really nice. That would make a nice pinup. Then we skip on to number 102, 109. Two Gun Kid, the fastest gun alive, the gunslammer. I think I showed this one before, part of this one before. Yeah, gunslammer. Dick Ayers. Art. Larry Lieber wrote it. Larry Lieber was a primary artist. Remember, he is Stan Lee's brother, and he was a primary artist on Rawhide Kid in the 60s and early 70s. But he did his share of writing as well. Yeah, and the showdown. That's a George Tuska art on that one. That backup story. And here, as I said, had supervillains here, or who would be considered supervillains. The Panther will get you if you don't watch out. Yeah, that's the Panther. And who is that? That's a Dick Ayers, at least penciled cover. But this interior story is written by Al Hartley. This is originally presented in Two Gun Kid 77, so it's from the mid 60s. Written by Al Hartley, drawn by Dick Ayers. He did a lot of these westerns. He did some really good stuff. You can see his mask, costume, and stuff like that. But as I said, it's written by Al Hartley. That name should ring a bell. because I've talked about him many times. Of course, Al Hartley is best known for his years on at Archie Comics as an artist at Archie Comics, and was also a writer and artist for many of the Spire religious comics in the 70s. Then we go on to number 120. This is Western action in the story you demanded. The rip-snorting origin of the Two-Gun Kid. Yeah. So this was by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Dick Ayers. So Ayers did the inks. This is from Two-Gun Kid number 60, which was the first appearance of this version of the Two-Gun Kid. And this has the origin, how Mad Hawk reached the town of Tombstone, Texas, and he immediately he's a lawyer just out of law school, and he's going to set up shop, and the toughs are bullying him right off the bat. He doesn't know how to take care of himself, but this old man who helped him out, and then he teaches him how to handle a gun, how to fight, and how to ride and rope and all the Western stuff. And I can't get that page open. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and so he learns all that stuff, and then he dons a mask and becomes rip snorting, wild, woolly, and gun shooting Rough Rider, teaching them bad cowpokes a lesson. And here's the fury of Ox Miller. But this is a backup story. But this is the original Two-Gun Kid. And this was drawn by John Severin. And of course, and John Severin stuff is always good, but he's so especially good on the Westerns, any of the adventure stuff, but especially the Westerns and the war comics, and not to mention the humor stuff he did at Mad and Cracked. Then we get to number 123, Trapped by Grizzly Grogan. This is 1975, from originally published in Two-Gun Kid number 64. Again, Dick Ayers and Stan Lee doing this one. And always some really fine work by Dick Ayers. And then with a backup story, here also from that original issue by Stan Lee and Paul Reinman. I've talked about Paul Reinman before. He did some of the Archie superhero comics from the 60s, from the Mighty Comics group, the Mighty Crusaders. And several other things as well, but that's what I mostly talked about him before. Then we have number 125, Showdown with Jesse James. What? Again? Special. One other human being learns the kid's true identity in this great action-packed issue, Showdown with Jesse. And this is the same story we saw before. Well, I'll be doggone. Oh, G.I. Joe meets the amazing Atomic Man. Yeah. These are with remember that ad with these. When they still had the 12-inch G.I. Joes before they had the little 3-inchers, and added another character and called him the Atomic Man. It was adopted primarily because of the popularity of the $6 Million Man. And here, we have issue number 128, 25 center, a Sagebrush Shocker, Jury of Death. This is a cover drawn by Hannigan and Palmer. That's a really nice cover. And this is a reprint from Two-Gun Kid number 92, written by Denny O'Neil. And he had written some of that Kid Colt stories that I covered before, with art by Ogden Whitney. And it's just a little different cover. I think he mostly did, was it romance? I can't remember what Ogden Whitley usually drew for. I can't remember offhand. But it's a fine job, a real fine job. Maybe not quite as dynamic as some of theirs, but it's a really, really great draft job. Nice draftsmanship. Then the second story, by the same. No, this one's this one's written as well as drawn by Ogden Whitney. Stops the train before it goes over a cliff. Yeehaw. Then issue number 132. See, these have all been good, cool silver and bronze age goodness. I mean, the books are from the Bronze Age. Most of the stories are from the Silver Age. Hold it, kid. Goliath's got business with you. This is a nice Gil Kane cover. Whom did a good job on that horse. Of course, he's always good. But the interior is still Stanley and Dick Ayers, and this is originally from Two Gun Kid number 69, again from the mid-60s. Some fine stuff, though. Good fun reading. Yeah. Wild Adventures. That's a really good shot right there. And then very that's a thrilling page. That's a real thrilling page right there. And then we're going to round it up with this one. What's this? Gunslingers #1. Startling Stories of the Wild, Wild West. Starring Two Gun Kid and Caleb Hammer. But this is from 2000. And it's just reprinting some of the older stuff. It has a rarity here. It's a nice Western cover by John Buscema. I don't see credits anywhere for it, but I recognize that as John Buscema. If it's not, it sure as heck looks like him. So if anybody else knows different, let me know. And here, and it's primarily, using Two Gun Kid, but his next one here is a reprint of that Grizzly Grogan story that we saw before. But it's also got not only Two Gun Kid, it's also got a Rawhide Kid story. This is a weird one for Rawhide Kid because it's like a living totem pole. There's a giant monster. This is from the days when the giant monster stuff, and it's drawn by Jack Kirby. And then there's a Kid Colt story in here somewhere too. Yeah, short Kid Colt story, and then another Two Gun Kid story. Again, this one's drawn by Jack Kirby, and then it's backed up by a reprint of the one Caleb Hammer story that they did for Marvel Premiere. I've forgotten. What was it? Marvel Premiere number 54. They were is taking a more serious look at the westerns, a little similar to DC's Jonah Hex, and like Jonah Hex, one of it's inked by Tony DeZuniga, penciler by Gene Day, and it's written by what's his name? Gillis? Is that Peter Gillis? It's hard to read. Yes, Peter Gillis. Because I've got the book that this was originally presented in, and it's real good, a real good story. And I would like to have seen more of them, but I think that's all they ever did. Of that Caleb Hammer. So there we go with a fistful of Two Gun Kid blazing Western action books. And I want to thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Something fell on the ground. Leave your comments down below and tell me how much you love Two Gun Kid, or tell me how much you hate Two Gun Kid or any of the westerns, any of that stuff. Let me know. Whoops, in the comments below. And remember, boys and girls, comics are art.